But I did work with Rachel, and I did work with Jonathan. Rebecca was still young when I was there. She was still, I think, in high school. So she only came around occasionally. So I did not have, I don't even know that I've met Rebecca in person. But Jonathan and Rachel, I have both worked with. The time that I was there, Rachel was in college. And so she wasn't there all the time, but when she would come in, she would come straight to the marketing department. That was her favorite. And my understanding is she's now the marketing director there. But she would sort of come in with pet projects, these little ideas that she would have. I want to do some kind of Christmas special, or I want to do this photo shoot for this, or whatever it was. And it didn't matter what else was on our plate. It didn't matter the priority of those things or deadlines. Hers had to take priority. And I would ask, by this point, Jeanette was gone. And I would ask the others in the department, does she have the authority to tell us to just drop everything? Is this okay? And everybody was just kind of like, oh, it's Rachel, what do you do? She was very, very unreasonable, very demanding, sort of silly. And again, over these little pet side projects that really had nothing to do with the objective and trajectory of the network. It was more just things she wanted to do personally, and would just demand that we drop everything in order to make those things happen. It was insulting, honestly, to those of us with degrees and who had worked really hard to be where we were. By the time that Rachel came along, I had been promoted to art director there, and I was really proud of that. I'd worked really hard to get there, and she would come in and just, it was like nothing else mattered. And we dreaded it. We dreaded it when she showed up, absolutely.
Did you ever see her mistreat or speak nastily to people?
Oh yes, mostly to the production people. The people in the studio. Again, we were up on the third floor, locked away behind closed doors, so you had to make an effort to come up to where we were. But down in the studio, yes, she was unreasonable and demanding. She would yell. She would sort of throw temper tantrums. Just behavior not of a mature adult at all.
Very hard. And did you see her reactions and interaction with Jonathan at all?
Only when the family was together. Again, it was that perfect Lamb family picture that they always painted when they were together. I never witnessed the two of them working together, but it was well known within the company that Rachel, really resented the fact that Jonathan would inherit the company. She just made it very clear that she felt like he wasn't worthy of it, that she was much more suited for that role, that he wasn't competent enough for it. And, that was just the underlying baseline of how she operated and how she treated people. I should be running this place. This is my empire.
The difficulty between Rachel and Jonathan has shown itself in numerous ways. People have stated that there was jealousy. Rachel has been known to have said to her father, the only reason that I won't be running Daystar is because I'm a woman. Have you heard of that?
Yes, she wanted to be the one. She did. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so, yes.
Yeah.
And so these were kind of the concerns, that the family dynamics that were going on. And it is being revealed that, that Rachel's issues and her difficulty is quite consistent with numerous reports that I'm hearing. It's such a shocking lack of self-awareness that's coming out in all of these, one whistleblower basically said she really treated Jonathan badly, and you could see it, but others just just
I believe
the
it.
disdain, the bullying, the nastiness, like the ultimate mean girl, what one person called her. And to think that that type of behavior is leadership, like it is so, it's certainly not godly leadership. A godly leader is a servant, loving, kind, long-suffering, patient, has self-control. And so it's shocking to hear all these stories coming out, because honestly, 3-4 weeks ago, I didn't know her from a hole in the wall. I really didn't.
Yeah.
So this is interesting.
It felt to me like Daystar was her playground, and there were no guardrails. There was nobody saying, "Hey, Rachel, no, we're not doing that." So she just, if she said it and she wanted it, it happened. It didn't matter budget, it didn't matter timeline, it didn't matter other projects or deadlines. It was like Rachel decided she wanted this. And so that was just, it was degrading, honestly, and frustrating, because, you know, I used to joke that we were like a fire department. There would be times where in the marketing department we were at a lull, and then there were times where it was all hands on deck, because we served the production team by creating the on-air graphics for their live show, which it's called Ministry now, but at the time it was called Celebration. And Marcus would walk in 5 minutes before going live and tell Rose, his producer, "Here's what God told me we're going to talk about today." And Rose would call up to us and say, "We need the following graphics." And so we would drop everything, you know, to get everything prepped for on air within just seconds. And so it wasn't just for that show, but many things like that is how it was operated. And so it just felt really degrading to us when Rachel could just come in and just completely usurp that and say, "No, this is what I want now, and I don't care what your priorities are, your deadlines, or your projects. It doesn't matter. Do what I want." That was exceptionally frustrating, on top of the fact that at the time she was 19, 20, 21. She was very, very young.
Rachel was a tyrannical dictator that thought she was the voice of God to us. The film team literally operated in fear of her. She would threaten people's jobs constantly. She is the epitome of a mean girl. She would be fake nice to you one moment and the next moment be screaming at you. In her eyes, Daystar is there to serve her and make her famous. I was hired for multiple projects only to arrive and find out that we were doing a lifestyle shoot for Rachel and Josh's personal blog and YouTube channel. The film team even filmed Rachel announcing to Josh that she was pregnant with their first child. The entire film team knew before her own husband. Everything was about how can we turn this into content about them and make them famous. After each project, I sent the invoices to Daystar and they were paid by Daystar. I don't know if they were reimbursing Daystar, but I seriously doubt it. We were on a project abroad for 2 weeks. The entire time, Rachel complained about the food. She demanded that we go to McDonald's as much as possible. The local food was awesome. She was just spoiled and unwilling to try new things. While on that project, we consistently worked 20 hours a day. And I will proudly say that we created some incredible imagery and captured amazing stories. What did Daystar do with it? They turned it into little clips to help them have a televangelism telethon and raise money. I watched Marcus play our clip about a man that was nearly executed for being Jewish and then say into the camera, "You don't have enough money for rent this month? Send us $1,000 on your credit card to help these people around the world and watch how God helps you." I was appalled. I told them after that I will never work for them again. They are evil.